What's up guys, hope you're doing amazing. This video is going to be very different from my usual ones, and the reason why is because, well, I do have quite a lot of things to say, although I'm going to try to keep it very short. And yeah, I felt like making this video to just, give you guys an update on my life, and most importantly, which is supposed to be the most important part of the video, why have I been so inconsistent with content, and why have I been so, I guess you could say, MIA, right? For the past couple of months, you can even say year, honestly, with content. Now, I have a lot of excuses I could tell you guys about why I've been missing and why I've been so inconsistent, and why, where I've been really. I've been working so hard on so many different projects for the past couple of months. My close friends watching this video will know it and will know what I'm talking about. But I'm not even gonna talk about these things because, well, first of all, they're excuses, and secondly, I know that if I really wanted, I could have just managed both, both content, creating content, and working what I've been working recently. So, they're excuses, so I'm not even gonna talk about them, because I've had the time to just sit down and think about what's been going on and why, deep down, what's the reason why I've just been so inconsistent and missing. And I think I found the answer. My last post on Instagram that I posted personally was more than a month ago, and my last YouTube video was a couple months ago. It's actually the longest time I've gone without posting my own content. And yeah, I just had a lot of time to think about this and ask myself, and sit down and just ask myself what's been going on really. And I just want to walk you guys through very quickly. I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible, as to why this happened, and hopefully one of you guys can learn a thing or two about this, and maybe some of you guys are going actually through the exact same situation as me. So I hope it's going to help some people, and if it doesn't help you, well, I'm very glad you're sitting down to listen to me yap. Honestly, I just was not motivated to post about me or my life. I was just not motivated at all. When I'm saying motivated, I'm not saying it as oh, I'm so motivated to do certain things. I just didn't want to do it. I was not motivated by the idea of creating content or posting content about my life really, or filming YouTube videos. It's not that I was not motivated by the business itself. I was just not motivated to just pick up the camera and talk. That's not something I wanted to do. And usually I'm a pretty big advocate of the whole idea that you should never rely on motivation, that you should always be disciplined and do certain things even if you don't feel like doing them. But creativity is different, I feel like, and creating content is creativity in the end. And I was not born as a creative person. I'm pretty sure deep down I'm not a creative person, because, well, I can be creative, but in order for me to get creative, I really have to put all of my brain to the what I'm working on creativity wise, and it would just suck so much energy from my brain and take so much energy, to the point where creating one YouTube video, one script, or one just ideating really, would take as much energy as if I spend the entire day creating a business plan for my new business, or going on calls and meetings with companies and clients and closing deals, etc. So it's very weird, right? Just my brain gets so caught up when I'm just in the creative mode, so it's really hard for me, and I just don't feel creativity is something that you can force. And yeah, I just didn't want to pick up the camera, and I just didn't want to talk about my life, or create content or post stories. I haven't even posted stories about my life for so long. I lost quite a lot of followers as well, which doesn't really affect me, because it's been a long time since I've detached myself from the whole followers count and likes and views, etc. I don't really give a shit about that, to be honest. Once you realize that it doesn't mean anything, it just you just forget about it really. But still, it's something you should keep in mind. I've been losing followers, and I've tried to post here and there on Instagram. I've tried to post some cool content, but it was very inconsistent, and I just did it, I think, once a month. And well, the paradox is that my life has never been so interesting for the past couple of months. My life the past year was so freaking amazing and so freaking incredible. I've had so many amazing things happen to me, and I could have so easily just picked up the camera and just showed what's been going on in my life, because again, so much things have been going on in my life really, but I just didn't feel like doing it. like a couple weeks ago, I was in China for like 3 weeks, traveling across the entirety of China for business meetings and, you know, meeting potential investors for a project I'm working on as well. I moved in here in Dubai in my first like high-rise apartment with a skyline view that I've wanted since I was a kid, really. And I just didn't even like vlog it. I didn't even talk about it, really. I just I didn't even feel like I wanted to like pick up the camera and like just show it. When so many people, like the first thing they would have done in my situation was just to be like, pick up the camera and like film a YouTube video about like my Dubai apartment tour, like, you know, day in my life in Dubai, which, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna do these videos, but it wasn't the first thing I wanted to do, and it definitely wasn't the first thing that came to mind, to the point where it's already been like 6 months I moved here, and I mean almost 6 months. And I still haven't even made like a YouTube video about it. So yeah, that just goes to show like my mind has been just not focused on like creating content. And again, it's so interesting because it's a paradox, because, you know, I was creating so much content like the past 2 years where my life was, I mean, it was fairly interesting, but nothing crazy really compared to now. And now, you know, my life has just never been so cool and so many amazing things happening that I just don't even post. Like, it's just very interesting. And honestly, I don't even feel like the slightest, you know, bit of regret by like not picking up the camera when I was in China, when I was in Japan as well, like a couple of weeks ago, like when I moved to Dubai, when I, you know, was searching for apartments, when I found this one, the day I officially moved in. You know, I also closed like my biggest like deal ever a couple of weeks ago. I mean, no, actually 2 months ago now, and I didn't even film it. Like, so many things that I could have like filmed and made content about, and the content would have probably done like super well. I still don't feel any regrets, because in a sense I think it's a good thing, because I lived all these moments I just mentioned by myself and with my close ones. So, you know, it makes me like not regret anything, even though I probably could have made some banger content and like some very interesting content with everything I've been living for the past couple of months. Still, I don't regret it. At least, you know, I just lived these moments to their fullest, and obviously I still have like memories in my head, which is the most important. Now, to go back and to add to why I've been very much MIA on social media, I think part of the reason why is because I just got way too comfortable, and I'm not ashamed to say it, although, you know, it's not a good thing, obviously, but I definitely got way too comfortable for the past couple of months. Because, you know, if you look at my content, basically like 80% of my content for the past like 6 to 10 months was sponsored. It was like part of brand deals. And, you know, obviously I never like promote companies and tools and softwares I would not use, or like I don't use, or I don't believe in. You would be surprised the amount of emails I get every single week of, you know, companies trying to pitch me their softwares and tools and paying me like some really good money to just talk about it on my Instagram and YouTube. But I just say no to like 90% of those, because they just suck, honestly. And I don't want to just like advertise something that's just bad, right? Like just earlier today, refused a $2,000 deal to post like, I think it was 2 stories about a tool. Like, it was this, you know, language learning platform or something. I checked it out. It sucked. It was not good. So I just said no. And this happens like every single day, every single week. So yeah, what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, there comes a point where you just paid a lot of money to just create content about tools you love and you actually use on a daily basis, and companies you love working with, and you just get paid like such an absurd amount of money to do this, that at some point, like creating, you know, original content, like personal content, it just like slowly but surely like leaves your mind, and you're just like, you know, next thing you know, you wake up like 6 months after that and you're like, shit, like most of my content has been like sponsored content and brand deals. And, you know, I'm in a very special position because most of my content already from the beginning was already about showcasing useful like tools and useful softwares and useful like, you know, websites and all that stuff, that brand deals don't even feel like brand deals in my content, because I'm always about showing useful stuff and useful resources to people that, you know, brand deals like don't even look like brand deals. And, you know, obviously again, I always make sure to just work with like sick companies and actual like sick tools and sick softwares that, yeah, at some point you're just left earning comfortably, like consistently over $10,000 a month, which has been the case for me for like the past couple of months, even like past 12 months really. And you're just like getting paid that much to just like, you know, talk about tools you would talk about even if you weren't paid to do so. So I don't know if you realize this, but like, you're like, okay, I can create a coaching program, I can create a new product, a new program, whatever it is, and maybe scale to like $50,000 a month or like $40,000 a month. But obviously that would require like a lot of work. And on the other hand, you know, like you're getting paid already 6 figures a year just to post about tools you would normally post about even if you were not paid to do so. And you have companies paying you freaking $5,000 a month just for like a couple like stories and one post a month. It's just insane the amount of money there is on brand deals and the amount of money that companies pay and spend on marketing, that at some point you just become like, you know, what's even the point of creating original content? And I know it's wrong to think that way. I think it's pretty much inevitable because especially if you come from, you know, like a lower income background like I am, just making like $10,000 to $15,000 a month consistently is just with brand deals just makes you think like, all right, you know, let me just keep on doing this for a while now. And so yeah, I think that being comfortable was definitely one of the biggest reasons why this has been happening and why I've been very much inconsistent with posting content, like original content, and why I've just not been posting about my life and what's been going on really about me. So I'm looking at my notes here with the bullet points to make sure I don't get lost. But I think the last reason that I think accounts for like less than 5% of what I've been missing, because we've already like talked about the two main ones. The remaining 5% I think is I sort of like forgot who I am. Like I've just sort of like forgot where I came from, and I've just been minimizing my achievements a lot for the past couple of months. And at some point I was sort of like just feeling behind, you know, because nowadays it's like very easy to, you know, open Instagram and YouTube and see 17-year-olds making $1 million a month in profit, like, you know, driving Lamborghinis and, you know, doing all these fancy things, which is fine, like respect to them, that's absolutely amazing. But what I'm trying to say here is that it sort of like made me feel behind a bit, you know. I was always the youngest kid out there, like when I was in classes, even on this whole like content creation business. I mean, I still am one of the youngest guys doing it, but when you see like even younger guys at like 18 years old and like, you know, 17-year-old, it just makes you rethink about your life decisions and your decisions and like how you've been approaching business and how serious you've been really, which is a good thing. Again, like I love competition and I'm very driven by competition, but you know, for some reason at some point this year I got like the bad part of it, and I just started, you know, thinking that I should not even create content because I'm not worthy of talking about these topics when I've only made $500,000 at 21 years old. Like, I know it's a lot of money. I know I've been doing very well for myself. I know that making just like 6 figures a year in profits at like 21 years old with your business, it's already pretty insane and it's already a very good achievement. But yeah, I've just sort of like been minimizing it. And, you know, at some point I was like, why am I even making content if like there's someone that makes like 5 times the amount of money I make and the amount of things I've achieved? Like, yeah, I just didn't feel like I was worthy of sharing anything, like sharing any value, because I knew some people that were making like way more than me and like being way more successful than me, sharing value as well, which is obviously a terrible way of thinking. Like, I'm not saying you should think about that, and I'm not saying I was right at all. It was just like a small phase of like a couple of weeks this year. I don't recommend you guys to think like this, because obviously everyone is different and everyone has their own strength, everyone has their own story, and you know, like, you just can't compare yourself. You really should not compare yourself to people like, for example, your age making 10 times the amount of money you make. You should definitely, you know, be motivated by it, and you should definitely be motivated by the fact that there's competition out there, but you should definitely not like compare yourself and your entire life, because again, there's so many factors out there since you were born that play a role into how you're going to do at like 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old. So yeah, like, not everyone grew up the same, not everyone had the same parents, not everyone had access to the same things. So comparing yourself is stupid. Like, it is just plain stupid. So yeah, just don't compare yourself. That's something I've done this year, and it accounts for like less than 5% of the reason why I've been missing, sort of. But yeah, I just wanted to like throw it in the video still, because maybe some of you guys are struggling with that as well. So just a reminder that you should never compare yourself at all. So anyways, I am back. I've been traveling a lot recently, and I'm now back settled in Dubai for at least the next 2 months. So that's already pretty good, 2 months in one place. To me, it feels like settling down, but yeah. I think this break in content and like this whole inconsistency was the best thing that could ever happen to me, because it just allowed me to like have a huge step back and just be like, wow, like, I've achieved a lot, but there's also like so much more to achieve. And I've also just like been enjoying creating content again. Like, that's for the first time in a long time. I've just been actually like enjoying creating content, and I felt like creating content. And so yeah, to me, it was just like the best thing that could have ever happened, because now I'm just back with like so much new ideas and so much new plans and strategies I'll go about creating content again. And not trying to put myself on a pedestal or anything, but I have some sick content planned out, and I have some really cool content planned out that I think nobody's ready for. I have some extremely valuable stuff coming out very soon. And you know, stepping back from like this entire content thing for a while, it also made me realize a lot of things I've been doing wrong as well, which is also why having breaks is very important. Like, it just makes you realize certain things you've been doing for like so long, and then you just stop doing it for like a couple of weeks, couple of months. You look back and you're like, shit, like this, I've been doing this and I've been doing this wrong for this entire time and I just didn't realize it. In my case, it's the fact that I didn't talk about myself enough. I didn't talk about my life enough. I didn't show my face enough. You should not focus only on creating value, on posting value content. It's good for getting likes. It's good for getting followers. It's good for getting views. It's good for getting like attention on your profile, but it's really not good for converting, and it's really not good for trust. Like, people will not trust you. Like, you need to just talk about more about your life. You need to post more about who you are as a person, your values, you know, like what you stand for. And that's something I've been doing, but not enough. Like, I've just haven't been doing it enough. And that's something I'm going to change in my content as well. And something interesting also to mention is that I used to have a program which was called the Creator Masterclass, which basically was an online course to help people do exactly what I've done, which is grow an audience on Instagram and, you know, make money from it through brand deals and digital products. I've closed enrollments for new students of that course in June of this year. So it's already been almost 6 months now. And that was honestly like a pretty big part of my income. Like, I was, you know, it was bringing me like between 5 to 10 grand a month consistently. And I just stopped selling it. Like, I just stopped taking new students because, well, even though there was no like fulfillment on my side, because it was just like an online course where people would just watch it and immediately get access to all the knowledge and all the info inside of it, I stopped selling it because I felt like I was not giving it my all, and like I was not giving it my absolute best. Although the feedback has been absolutely amazing and people loved it and so many people made money with it. I know it sounds a bit corny, but I feel like I'm meant for more than just like a online course, you know? Like, I feel like I can just do way better, like an actual hands-on one-on-one coaching program, or, you know, like a cohort, or like even, why not, physical, like live classes, you know? I feel like I was meant for like much more than that. And well, that's actually been what I've been working on a lot these past couple of months. I just wanted to create the best possible offer and solution for anyone who wants to grow an audience online and make money from it. I'm just so excited for like you guys to see it, because it's going to be amazing. Like, it's just going to be the best possible program out there. I couldn't think of a better replacement for the Creator Masterclass, which was already very good. I just wanted to step things up a notch and just create something even better, and something that will really just reach new heights in terms of how many people I'll be helping and how many people will have results from everything I'll be teaching. Because one thing I've realized with, you know, self-paced courses and self-paced programs is that statistically, I think it's like, you know, less than 15 to 20% of people who enroll in a course who watch it until the end. So already like 80% of people who buy your course or buy your program will not finish it. So there's that. So yeah, I'm very excited to tell you guys about it once it goes live. We're still refining a couple things. It's almost finished, it's almost ready, but we're just trying to make it as perfect as possible, really. So yeah, it's been a very long yap session. I'm sorry about that, but if you watched till the end, thank you very much. I appreciate it for sitting down with me and hearing me talk about a lot of things. I'm very excited to be back. Like, you have no idea. I am so excited to just start creating content again and start just taking things to a new level. You can start expecting new content from me starting this week. So yeah, I hope you're gonna enjoy, and thank you guys for sitting down and hearing me talk about a lot of things about life. I actually love making these sit down videos where I just talk and like talk about my life, really. That's amazing. So anyways, thank you guys a lot, and see you guys soon. Bye bye.